is your October 2023 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, you might find this reading resonates for you. Thanks for taking the time to join me and tune into the channel. It's Romy here. We are going to open up this month with the energy of the Two of Cups, and there is a very strong emphasis through the course of October around all things relationship, professional, platonic, romantic. Now there's an intensity to this month, but it also brings with it an excitement and sense of adventure. We are in eclipse season, and we also have more than a few road bumps in terms of some of the astrological conversations that are playing out. What I think though is that you're going to find through the course of October, even though you may be having to face some challenges head on, you're able to kind of harness and leverage the energy. You just feel more up to the task, and things perhaps are not affecting you in quite the same way as they might have previously. It's helping to really bring about a strong focus for you as you become clearer and more direct on what your wants, needs and wishes are. And I think it's really important as we address this Two of Cups opening up that you really consider, in terms of your own pathway and the most important connections that you have in your life at this moment, how honest and transparent am I being about how I've changed, how I've evolved, and therefore, what I'm now seeking and looking for. But remember, as we come into this new eclipse cycle with Libra, the demands that exist within our relationships, the desires that we have, all of this is bringing to the forefront perhaps where we have been accepting or, managing in a sort of codependent way. And so there's a lot, an awful lot that's going to be brought right up, illuminated for you through the month of October, meaning that you have to deal with things. And perhaps sometimes it will feel like things are being taken out of your hands. But at the same time, I have this sense of you just being willing to sit at the table and to have these incredibly important, honest, truthful conversations. Now we've come out of the Venus retrograde shadow, we're out of Mercury retrograde shadow, so you should find that actually it's a lot more clear and obvious what needs to be discussed, what needs to be dealt with, and how together, you can find some semblance of a strategy or an action plan moving forward. Or if not, coming to a very clear understanding at sort of, where you now stand in relation to this connection in your life. So Mercury shifts into the sign of Libra on the 4th, again helping to bring forth this sense of diplomacy and swift justice, I think, especially where things have been hanging around for some time. You're going to be a lot busier than you expected or planned to be in October, Scorpio. So I want you to keep that in mind. I think there will be almost a sense of that being quite a cathartic energy to work with in some ways. It's almost just like it will help you to get more done. Again, as strength comes up through this relationship, even if you are managing and navigating some tricky elements to sort of what's taking place for you in these important relationships, it doesn't feel to me like it's going to necessarily distract you, because at the same time I have this sense of you really building and nurturing through the course of October a greater capacity to find and seek more meaning in your life, more joy, more presence. And as you get clearer about that, about what it's going to take, and let's talk about what it's going to take this month, in fact, because, I see Scorpio showing up with flexibility, which is necessary, with compromise, with confidence, with a rebuilding of trust, both within yourself and others, a sense of purpose, actions that need to be taken, and I do see that you will follow through with them, and also a serious sense of humor, right? So as you face things that are coming your way, with a greater degree of acceptance. Now remember, acceptance doesn't necessarily mean that we approve of it. But you have an intention to kind of really seek the lesson so that you can move into this energy of growth that you're going through, then there's something here to celebrate. Three of Cups comes through, and I think your willingness to kind of stay the course, to hold your position, to dig deep and be very clear and transparent, and not let passive behavior rob you of an opportunity to truly advocate for yourself this month. Now, I do want to call out on the 8th, we'll have Venus shifting into Virgo. So remember, our love language becomes one of, acts of service. And it's a little bit more muted than this extended period that we've had Venus in Leo. So that gear change, if you like, I think, for some could also be a little bit of a breath of fresh air. On the same day, however, we do also have quite an aggressive charged energy between Pluto and Mars. And there's a little bit of a sort of showdown feel to this. It doesn't have to be negative. It can absolutely give you the wherewithal to sort of break free from something, to put your foot down and be like, okay, enough is enough. I draw the line. But it does feel like the energy is quite charged. And that's just ahead of Pluto waking up from its slumber, going direct in the sign of Capricorn on the 10th of the month. And remember, we are coming to the end of this prolonged cycle, preparing for what Pluto in Aquarius is going to be delivering for us. And so if you don't want to, perpetuate a lot of the things that you've experienced through this Pluto Capricorn energy, this is the time to really ensure that you are integrating and sort of leaping forward into some of the new energies that are showing up for you and all that's being asked of you in regards to that. But the Three of Cups tells me that there is something joyful and celebratory that's sort of being woven into what feels like more intense moments through October. But, I said to you, it also delivers excitement. And that could also be something that's coming about by way of your friendships or your soul family, something that you've agreed to kind of come together to initiate. And there's this feeling about initiating something new that comes up in October for you. You're incredibly capable this month, and I hope that you can take advantage of that within yourself. As you add something new, it will feel like a breath of fresh air. So Mars is going to shift into your sign on the 11th, and it sort of puts you in this incredibly motivated sort of state of mind. Temperance might want to just sort of help you to kind of find some moderation here, so we don't move into that all or nothing. And I quite like this because against the backdrop of some of the intensity of the eclipses, this is going to be quite a healing sort of narrative and storyline that just helps you to sort of keep perspective on things, especially if you're feeling a little bit triggered or there are some unexpected events and situations that seem like they're coming through. But remember, Mars and Scorpio will absolutely sort of ignite something within you. Again, passion being evoked for some of you powerfully with regards to what's happening around relationships. That might dictate how you see things moving forward, where you want them to go. And I think you're going to have a very clear vision around that, perhaps more clarity than you've had all year. But with that, there's this urgency as well. That's like, okay, now that I've finally sort of figured out exactly what I want or what I'm looking for, I want it to all happen now. And don't get me wrong, there is this feeling through eclipse season where things can happen incredibly quickly. There's almost like that warp speed energy that takes place. There are months that ask questions and then there's months that give us answers. And this is a month that's giving us answers, but sometimes it's not the ones that we necessarily expected. So this sort of wild card electric kind of feeling in the air, can absolutely help support the advancement and fast advancement of things that have felt like they've been held up for some time. Temperance, I like because I just think it will keep you, in body, mind and soul in the right kind of equilibrium. So the new moon solar eclipse in Libra comes in at 21 degrees on the 14th of the month, showing us that beautiful ring of fire. And, we're going to be working with this cycle. It began in spring of 23 and will go right through to spring of 2025. So, we have along with this some anxiety that's surfacing. perhaps we go into that what if scenario, even though you see, I think, the benefit and the necessity perhaps of some of the changes and transitions that are happening or coming towards you. It's perfectly understandable and human to kind of also feel like, well, I've already been through the ringer, or there's already things that I'm still having to kind of manage and deal with. I don't know if I've got the capacity for much more. But remember what I said, you absolutely through this month are incredibly capable. So I think you have, the ability, remember temperance and strength, these major arcanas are sort of coming through in a very sort of protective feeling this month in regards to what might be showing up by way of some of this stress and anxiety. A lot of this, remember, unfounded fears, and, perhaps we can feel a little bit caged in or hemmed in by a particular set of circumstances. But, the eclipse energy will move quickly, and therefore situations will move quickly. So I don't see you stuck in a cycle for long, even if initially when it lands around that new moon, something could feel a little bit disruptive. We then have supportive energy coming through as Mercury also shifts into your sign on the 21st. So again, this is you being able to speak your own language, it's a familiar, comforting energy to work with. It is helping to inspire you. It's helping to, again, activate this sense of, in spite of the fear, I know what needs to be done, and I'm prepared to sort of take a risk. I'm prepared to advocate for myself and to be direct. And I think this is what I'm saying about the difference between you allowing sort of a passive behavior to rob you of an opportunity to kind of step into that archetype of the King of Wands. This is what I want for you, because I know you can make incredible progress through the course of this month. And you might still be, navigating and dealing with some much deeper wound energy right now. But just remember, don't hold on so tightly to that pain. Hold on to what it's taught you. And when you can kind of get to that perspective and bring forth that kind of approach in October, this is where I see you sort of rising high in confidence and feeling much more empowered, even if, some of the ground is shifting and moving beneath your feet. Like I said, it's going to take a lot of flexibility through the course of this month. So the sun shifts into your sign on the 23rd, okay? And here we're having this beautiful opportunity for reinvention for Scorpio. And, you might make some surprise announcements with all of these eclipses sort of, waking people up in a very revelationary way. You might have been sat on something for some time and now just kind of feel inextricably pulled to announce it, to share it, to express it. It's like I can no longer hold back. All of the energy is kind of pushing and driving me forward. The lunar eclipse, the final one in the Taurus axis, coming in on the 28th. Now, we do have some challenges there. We've got Mercury, Mars and Jupiter in a hard aspect, meaning that things feel a bit exaggerated. They feel a bit dramatic. And remember, you've been working with this storyline since November 2021. So this isn't new news. This is old news that you're having a continuing reason to have to sort of sit down and really consider, how am I resolving this? Where am I able to bring closure to this? What are the lessons I have learnt as a result of this? The positive aspect to this is that we have this really sort of harmonious aspect with Saturn, which is going to help you to turn things around. So, even though that lunar eclipse comes in, again, as another sort of showdown energy, that's probably what I would say about October. It does have this showdown feel to it. But, there's a sense of finality and really being able to kind of draw a line over something. Remember, the Taurus energy really is hitting on that sense of security within. And, the fated experiences that emerge through these eclipse energies also sort of leave you, it's like unequivocal in terms of what shows up around this. Yeah, because we're going to be moving on and we won't revisit this for a long time. So, you are meant to really learn something profound from this experience. Of course, just after that, we'll come into The period of celebrating Halloween, Samhain, on the 31st, Venus will trine with Uranus, so it could be something a little bit unexpected. You are set to see some, beautiful signs from those loved ones in spirit and your guides. Just make sure you're really protecting and clearing and cleansing your energy field. The veil is incredibly thin through the course of October. Your senses and psychic awareness is also more attuned than it's ever been. Add the eclipses to that, and it could just be one of these kind of extraordinary wake up feeling all the way through the month, where you're like seeing and perceiving and sensing things and being given these downloads and visions in a more powerful way than you ever have before. But the time for celebration and ritual around this date will also help with the closure that lunar eclipse wants to bring through for you. And in your season, I think you are again sort of standing strong. You're holding a position, and there's something that you have to say because you know what it's going to take. And this is what I really like about what I'm feeling into for Scorpio energy this month. It's just like, as soon as you understand what it's going to take, it's like against the odds, you will do it because you have attached a meaning to it, and it's a deeply personal meaning. And that's truly the only thing that will ever motivate us. Other people can inspire us, but we still have to find that within ourselves where something kind of locks into place. And that's what I see happening for you towards the end of the month. So you have an incredible sort of wave that you've just jumped on, and I feel like that wave is going to carry you all the way through the end of the year. And, this is a month that does bring that sense of new adventure coming in. So harness and leverage the intensity that it offers, and, almost be welcome for how busy you're going to be. Yeah, you won't necessarily feel fully ready, but you are being urged to start, and this is an initiation, and you'll find your sea legs really quickly. You might even feel like you're coming back to an old decision and knowing that now is finally the right time because it's coming from a place of growth, not the repetitious patterns that have surfaced, from a desire to just want to escape. Now, if you're new to the channel, Scorpio, our last 3 cards we pull in the extended reading, I talk for another 30 minutes or so and explore this reading in more depth. We also look at a personal question and a relationship card. I'm also clarifying these main cards just to see the direction of some of the messages that we'll be taking in the extended version. You can find all the decks that I use listed below. And this month, the soul guided meditations I've created for you is connecting with your spirit guide, as the veil is so thin, and a beautiful time to be able to strengthen or to indeed meet for the first time those who are guiding and supporting from beyond the veil. You can also check out the eclipse meditation that I've created previously to support you with some of these energies coming through as well. Okay, we have a tower showing up there. That's that, and the Wheel of Fortune. Very typical for an eclipse season, yeah? About this King of Wands. Remember, with such a strong focus and emphasis around, the relationships in your world, and, really this comprehension of what it will take to move from any sense of codependency towards a much more interdependent experience with people, it's really going to bring such healthy boundaries forth for you. Even if you're still struggling to implement them, the awareness will be there. The discussions of what needs to happen will also occur. So we're just going to pull some oracle cards. If you're new to my channel, this is Life Soul Vision Oracle, which is my own deck. First card out, Eclipse Revelations, Destiny Speaks. Perfect timing. Waterfalls of White Light, that also makes sense. Very much about energy protection and clearing. Spirit Stag, Heavenly Timing. We have Enlightened in the Exhale. Beautiful. Waves Crash and Stars Fall. And the Rainbow Dragon and the Wild Rose, very auspicious card, along with the Wheel of Fortune. So you have some incredible surprise opportunities and blessings making their way through for this month. So You have to keep alert and awake and not like judge too early the way in which you're seeing some of the things unfolding and what you think they mean for you. Fire, spirit, energy. Beautiful. We'll pull one more here. Door to Spirit. Beautiful cards this month. Okay, if you're joining me for the extended, I really look forward to continuing this conversation. Happy solar returns for those of you that have birthdays in October. I will see you again next time. You take good care, and be sure to check out my deck, my book, all of the sacred soul support meditations that I create to help you on your journey. All of these can be found over on my website, and I will see you soon. I appreciate you. Bye for now.